welcome to my kitchen. On this episode of Cooking with Love, I'm going to show you how to make another type of dough recipe. Now, we've previously showed you how to make a traditional dough for making Sicilian style pizza and for making Italian bread. This recipe I'm going to show you today is not a traditional recipe. It's actually based on a no-knead bread recipe that Jim Lahey published in 2006. It's incredibly simple to make. There's only 4 ingredients. You don't need a mixer or anything to make it. The secret of this dough is that it has a lot of water. It has a high moisture content or hydration level. It's incredibly easy to use. The nicest part about this is the only recipe that you're ever going to need. From this recipe, we're going to show you how to make 6 traditional Italian dishes. This includes a Neapolitan style pizza, calzones, ciabatta bread, Stromboli, pizza fritte, and focaccia. All right, let's get started. To make our dough, and I like to call it our universal dough, we only need 4 ingredients. We need flour, yeast, salt, and warm water. The flour that I'm using today is bread flour. If I'm making pizza or making calzone, I like to use a 00 Italian flour. It gives the dough a more silky smooth finish. However, you don't have to use 00 flour. Bread flour is fine, or even all-purpose flour. I like my crust a little bit chewier, and that's why I like bread flour. If you use all-purpose flour, it won't be as chewy. It's active dry yeast. I use sea salt, but you could use kosher salt. And then warm water, and it's just warm to the touch. Now, in order to get the most reproducible results, they recommend using, Jim Lahey in his article recommended using a kitchen scale. So I weighed out this flour. It's 500 grams of flour, and I weighed out the water, 350 grams of water. If you don't have a kitchen scale, no worries. You can easily measure out the amount of flour. So you'd want to take a measuring cup, and you're going to do the scoop and sweep method when you measure. So you would scoop up the flour, and then you would sweep off the top to level it, and that gives you the most accurate measure of volume. So you would use 3 3/4 cup of flour using this technique. And with the water, you would measure out 1.5 cups of water. Now, I found by testing that by using the scoop and sweep method, you end up with a little more flour than you do water. So if you're going to do that scoop and sweep measurement by volume, what you want to do is add an extra tablespoon of water to your cup, and that'll kind of keep it in balance. All right, let's put this together, and I'll show you how simple it is. The first step is to place our flour into the bowl. We're going to add our yeast and give it a stir. Then our salt. And we're going to make a well in the center. And then we're going to add our warm water all at once. And we're going to stir this just until it comes together. This is going to form a loose, wet dough. And our goal in mixing this is going to be just to make sure all the flour has been moistened and there's no dry bits of flour left here. So we're going to stir it. And it's getting very shaggy, so I'm going to transfer this now to the board. And we're going to press the dough, fold it and press until all the dry bits of dough are incorporated. And as you do this, you'll see that it gets stickier and stickier, and that's normal. All right, that's done. That's all it takes. Now, I'm going to transfer this to the bowl. And we're going to cover this with a lid. This is an airtight container. It's going to sit in our refrigerator for a minimum of 2 days. Ideally, the longer you leave it in the refrigerator, the better it's going to taste. It develops more flavors as it slowly rises. And this is good for 7, even 8 days in the refrigerator. Now, this one recipe of dough is enough to make 4 personal-sized pizzas, about 10 inches. You can make 4 good-sized calzones from it. You can make 2 loaves of ciabatta bread, or smaller loaves, or make 1 big loaf of ciabatta bread. You'll make 2 good-sized stromboli. You use this whole recipe if you're going to be making a focaccia, and you'll use this whole recipe if you're going to be making pizza fritte. It'll give you about 2 dozen pizza fritte. This is really how simple this recipe is. Now, in subsequent videos, we're going to show you how to make all those Italian dishes, starting with this dough recipe. We'll see you next time. We're going to get, for the water, if it's 3